They called it truth, the world's version of it. The kind that told you to follow the rules, to be nice, to be obedient, to keep your head down and survive. But then came a boy with a straw hat, a boy who smiled in the face of pain, laughed at danger, and dared to shatter every version of truth you were taught to believe. His name is Monkey D. Luffy. They said you need power to rule. Luffy said, "I'll become king of the pirates without ruling anyone." They said you need to be cruel to survive. Luffy walked into hell with kindness in his fists and a smile on his face. They said dreams are just illusions. Luffy turned his dream into a purpose and made the whole world chase after it. He didn't follow their truth. He burned it and built his own. You see, Luffy doesn't care what the world calls possible because he doesn't live in a world ruled by fear. He lives in a world ruled by will. Your truth says stay safe. His truth says risk everything. He's not interested in safety. He's interested in freedom. And freedom doesn't come with comfort. It comes with pain, sacrifice, and war. You call that insanity? He calls it life. They told him he couldn't win without a plan, so he trusted his instincts. They told him he couldn't beat the warlords. He broke their empires. They told him no one defies the world government. He rang the bell of rebellion in Enia's lobby, not for power, but for one friend. Luffy doesn't destroy because he's evil. He destroys because your truth is a prison, and he's here to set you free. Luffy destroys the illusion that you need to be like everyone else. He shows you that being different, being wild, being you, isn't a weakness. It's the only path to power. He doesn't follow your logic. He follows his heart. That's why he wins. Because in a world full of liars, the one who believes in something bigger than himself, the one who fights for it even if he dies, that man becomes unstoppable. He was never supposed to survive, never supposed to matter. But now the world can't stop talking about him. Why? Because Luffy doesn't chase truth. He becomes it. He becomes the truth that breaks nations, the truth that inspires monsters to become men, the truth that makes even the strongest question what they believe in. When you look at him, you don't just see a pirate, you see what you could have been if you stopped listening to fear. He doesn't just fight enemies. He fights the invisible chains around your soul. He destroys the idea that you're too weak, too late, too broken. He shows you that even if the world calls you a fool, if you believe hard enough, you'll break the sky with your bare hands. You think that smile is just joy? Number, that smile is war. That smile is defiance. That smile is the final blow to a world that told him he couldn't. You want an easy life? He laughs because he knows the truth. Easy lives build nothing. Easy lives leave no mark. Easy lives die forgotten. But Luffy, he chose the hard road. The road with blood, betrayal, and loss. And now, the world shakes when he walks. So if you're tired of living in their truth, tired of pretending, tired of being small, then destroy it, burn it, break it. Be the fool they fear. Be the dreamer they can't silence. Be like Luffy, because only when you destroy their truth can you finally live yours. Luffy doesn't carry a map for his journey because he doesn't follow roads. He creates them, and every step he takes is a slap to the world that said, know your place. But he never wanted a place in their world. He wanted to build a new one where the broken aren't abandoned, where loyalty isn't a weakness, where kindness and rage walk hand in hand. That's what makes him dangerous. Because in a time when most men kneel for approval, he laughs, he fights, he bleeds for a future no one else can see. And that is the most terrifying kind of man. They call him reckless. They call him irrational. But that's only because he doesn't play by rules written by cowards. The Marines have order, the Celestial Dragons have power, the Yonko have fear, but Luffy, he has nothing but will. And still, he tears through kings. Because you can't calculate the strength of a man with nothing to lose, but everything to protect. He fights for Nakama, for freedom, for a dream the world spit on. He's not just after the One Piece, he's after the right to be free, and that makes him an enemy of every false truth they've built. What they don't understand is that Luffy doesn't fear failure. He embraces it. He doesn't run from loss. He endures it. Because every scar on his body is a lesson. Every defeat a chapter. Every tear a sharpening of his blade. You measure success by money and power. He measures it by how many people he can protect without changing who he is. He could have become cruel. He could have become a tyrant. But he chose to remain human in a world of monsters. And in that choice, he became stronger than all of them. There are people who win by stepping on others. And then there's Luffy, who wins by lifting others while bleeding himself dry. He doesn't destroy your truth because he hates you. He destroys it to show you what you're capable of. If you stopped accepting the lies. Lies like, you can't change, you're too weak, you don't matter. Luffy doesn't argue with those lies. He destroys them with action. Because truth isn't something he reads in a book. It's something he carves with his fists. He didn't become a hero. He became a force of nature. You can chain a man, you can silence a rebel, but you can't kill an idea. And Luffy is an idea wrapped in flesh and blood. The idea that no one owns you, that no one defines your worth. That no one, not the government, not your past, not even God, can cage a soul born to be free. When Luffy looks at you, he's not looking at your excuses. He's looking at the person buried underneath them. And with every battle, every grin in the face of death, every refusal to quit, he's screaming, "Wake up! There's more to you than this." So don't follow his path. You're not meant to be him, but if you ever feel lost, drowned in the noise of lies they taught you, remember him, the boy with the straw hat, who broke the world's truth so he could live his own. Be like Luffy, be unstoppable, and let them fear the version of you that no longer listens to lies.